We got some drama coming out of the ye old CONCACAF, and for once it doesn't have to do with insane tackles or bad refereeing or a combination of insane tackles and bad refereeing or muddy pitches or police riot gear or anything else. This has to do with some good old-fashioned somebody said something stupid, right? And that somebody is a pretty relevant person. His name's Chicharito, Javier Hernandez, right? And if you are somebody that grew up in my generation in the 1700s, Chicharito was one of the best strikers in the world. He was the best player in CONCACAF, I would argue, for a while. He was the best player on the Mexican national team. And is somebody that popped up on, he played on Manchester United in a bit of a heyday. He played for some of the biggest teams in the world, right? He was a premier striker. He didn't last too long. He was an interesting poacher, fox in the box type player, right? He's not going to have some sort of goal comp like Zlatan Ibrahimovic or anything, but he was definitely, in his generation, the guy from a country that really, really adores the guy. So, in order for him to end up in hot water, he has to say something incredibly off the wall, right? Like, he has to say something that will get your attention, right? And there's a couple of pieces of context that make this so much funnier to me, but we'll get to what he actually said first, because you obviously need to know that. So Chicharito, he's still playing, by the way. He's 37. He plays at Chivas Guadalajara, which I believe is the team that he started at. He's done that trajectory. He went through MLS, was good in MLS for a few years, and then eventually ended up at Chivas. And he's been bad on the field. I believe the numbers are 34 appearances and 3 goals, right? Like, not been a good player. Probably should hang it up. The old leave the football before the football leaves you adage seems to be echoing in my ears here. But let's get to what he said, because he's doing social media, like YouTube videos and stuff. Not that I'm familiar with how to do that or anything. YouTube scares me, but he's talking on that. And these are quotes that are pulled from, I don't know, some video that apparently is still up. He posted several reels and videos, mainly on Instagram. So that's, if you want to find this stuff, don't be afraid to be women, to allow yourselves to be led by a man, the 37-year-old Hernandez said. Women, you are failing. You are eradicating masculinity, making society hypersensitive. I mean, my first reaction to this is it's not a very alpha male take to say that your masculinity can be destroyed by a woman. So if you're trying to go full Andrew Tate here and be the ultimate alpha male that's trying to right society one skinhead look at a time, which is what he's rocking now, you probably don't want to admit that women have the ability to, I'm not the guy that wrote the alpha male playbook, but it just doesn't seem very alpha male to go, yeah, women are destroying masculinity. Like, they got to stop bullying us, right? That just doesn't, anyways, doesn't really line up with the rest of the belief set. He continued, you women need to learn to accept and honor masculinity. In another one, he said, you want a man to provide, but for you, cleaning is patriarchal oppression. Interesting. And so my favorite piece of context to this, obviously, is that the president of Mexico is a woman, which is great, right? Like, the first female Mexican president ever just happens to be there at the time that the former talisman of the national team starts piping up about masculinity is in danger, right? And she had a great response. She said, I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, I'm also a housewife, but I'm also the supreme commander of the armed forces. Women can be whatever they want. That was her response. It wasn't the only piece of her response. She said, Chicharito is a very good soccer player, but when it comes to his opinion on women, he still has a lot to learn, and described what he said as very sexist, which is just true. I mean, it just is, right? And Chicharito, I don't know why people go down this rabbit hole, and then when they feel like they get to a point where they have a following, which Chicharito for 20 years has had a following, right? He's been one of the best footballers out of Mexico in the past 25 years. He's going to get a following. He's going to get people that want to listen to him. And when people get that following, and then they fall down an internet rabbit hole of guys like Andrew Tate telling them that masculinity is in danger, that, the society is being cut off at the knees here, that, women should shut up and clean or whatever, right? Like, all of those things that he's just kind of echoing. You can already, the podcasts he's listening to before you even look at his listening history, right? When you hear somebody say stuff like this. I don't know what compels people in Chicharito's situation to even talk about it. I mean, it's probably a good thing that he talks about it because then he can get ridiculed for it and have people point out how foolish it is to believe the things that he believes. And maybe that's like a corrective mechanism. But why are people so insistent on going on Instagram reels when you've scored 3 goals in 34 matches and being like, you know, women suck. You know, like why? Right? Like, women are destroying men. That's just like my opinion, man. Not that if he'd scored 34 goals in 3 matches that I would make it better. I just don't understand what compels people to do that in the first place. And of course, there has been a massive reaction to this. It was not just the president. It was the entire Mexican Football Federation that has handed him a fine, and also his club, Chivas Guadalajara, has disowned what he said and said that's the opinion of an individual and does not reflect the opinions of the institution or whatever, right? So the Mexican Football Federation just kind of went, really? and then the team did the same thing. And as a result, he's actually come out with a statement to try to course correct here. Thank you sincerely to everyone that has supported me, to whom, with respect, have shared their perspectives with me and pushed me to be a better person. I deeply regret any confusion or discomfort my recent words have caused. It was never my intention to reduce, hurt, or divide. As a father, a man, and a member of this community, a man! My priority is to act with respect, humility, and responsibility. I'm listening, reflecting, and committed to expressing myself with greater clarity and sensitivity, especially with such sensitive topics. Yeah, that's very well written by the PR team there. I'm sure he maybe had a say in it. Obviously, Chicharito's ended up in some hot water. You've got people saying that he should retire. Former 7-time Liga MX champion Ricardo Tuca Ferretti, now an analyst on ESPN, at a blunt message. He should retire now. He should leave football, not let football leave him. Yeah, I mean, that, and he probably just wants to get out of the public eye here. And he did it to himself. Right? I tend to feel bad for people, even if they have really wonky views that are just, like bad, right? If those are kind of exposed against their will, right? Maybe they're having a conversation with somebody at a bar and they're 5 beers in and they're saying some pretty off-the-wall shit about how the moon landing's not real, and then somebody leaks it, right? And then all of a sudden they didn't point the gun at their own foot and pull the trigger. Right, but I got no sympathy for Chicharito because he quite literally bought the gun, loaded the gun, pointed it at his foot, scoped to make sure he was hitting the big toe, and fired. He shot himself in the foot so convincingly here and has thrown himself into, a whole social, cultural war thing that he didn't need to be a part of. He launched himself into the sun here, right? And obviously, this me making this video is going to bring those people out of the woodwork. So for those people that are coming out of the woodwork, I think this is a situation where things can be simplified. Allow me to attempt to simplify them for Chicharito, right? Because Chicharito's insistence is that, women should stop, allow men to be comfortable in their masculinity or whatever. And basically, we all know how this works. Chicharito's probably seen a clip of somebody that is sitting there going, we need to eradicate all men or something. And then they've just expanded that out to the entirety of society. Like, that's what everybody thinks is going on in society. And then that's what's happening everywhere all the time. And it needs to be stopped. And we're in danger, right? Like, the whole world's always out to get you all the time. The simplest way to deal with this situation is Chicharito, who, by the way, is divorced, right? So clearly this didn't work out too well. Maybe he started talking about some of this stuff around the house, and she was like, I don't know what happened. But back to the simple approach. As long as you and the other person are comfortable with what's happening, that's great. But trying to project maybe what you want in a relationship onto society as a whole, especially when the president of your whole damn country is a woman, it's just a dumb idea. If you want to have a real 1700s traditional marriage and there is a woman that is gung-ho for that, and you respect her and she respects you, nobody should try to stop that, right? But to sit there on your Instagram channel, in between not scoring goals in matches, and just sit there and talk about, like, well, women need to clean, and they're threatening masculinity, and they just need to learn how to accept men, and that's what I like. Who you preaching to? You're either preaching to the choir or you're preaching to a bunch of people that are going to tune you out, because why would they listen to some washed up striker who's got nothing better to do to sit there and talk on Instagram Reels? Go outside, touch some grass, like find somebody, treat them well. I don't know what to tell you. This isn't a relationship advice channel, but this is also a don't be a dick to other people channel, generally speaking, unless you started it. He started it. Again, with the whole gun at the foot thing. I mean, honestly, part of this is just about seeing women as human beings and interacting with them as human beings, which for some reason is just very difficult for some people. Apparently Chicharito. Anyways, that's the Chicharito situation. I think that's just about all the, I mean, he's probably going to retire soon, and that's about it. What kind of a sucky last chapter for a career that was pretty spectacular.